Hello everyone, this is Regina from Creative Kismet. I'm going to show you today a little video tutorial on how to make a paper bag journal that is kind of a, you may have seen them before, and they're little fold-up books, and they're really fun to make. And I've just kind of put my own spin to them with some art and some papers and some other fun stuff. I hope you join with me in making one of these, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. Here are some of the things you'll be needing. Some different various papers. I have some pages from books. This is some clip art, napkin, some old music sheets, scrapbook papers, just whatever you have around. We'll be using a little bit of that. I have some stencils, some scissors, paintbrushes, gesso, and some kind of matte medium. It can be like this, or it can be Collage Podge or Mod Podge. Either one will work. And a paper bag, and of course some various colors in paint. They can be craft acrylics, or they can be artist acrylics, whatever you prefer. And so we're going to start by getting our bag ready. So you'll want to, this is just a paper bag from the grocery store. You want to take the handles off. And then you'll find the center seam and you'll just tear down as best you can. And once you get here, you'll just cut along the bottom of the bag to cut out the bottom portion. You should end up with a fairly big piece of bag. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this to a more manageable piece. So just a little bit more than half the sheet. So we're going to be needing 5 6x6 squares from this. I have this wood panel that's 6x6, and so I'm going to be using it as my template. But a simple square that you cut out of a cardboard box or cereal box will work really well. So I'm going to prepare my bag. It's got a lot of creases and folds in it, so I'm going to get it ready by putting some gesso on it, and that's going to help flatten it out a little bit. So I'm just going to squirt some on and use an old card. So this is the best and fastest way to get any large surface covered with gesso or any kind of paint. It just moves it around. You don't have to use very much. You just need a thin layer. So you let that dry a few minutes and repeat it on the other side. Okay, so you have your piece covered. It's not perfectly covered. You just have a thin layer on both sides. This is gonna just build up the paper and make it last longer and make it easier for it to accept paint and other mediums. So it'll just make a more durable little art book. And I'm gonna let this dry into the squares. We'll be cutting out the squares. Okay, my sheet is completely dry. And on the front and back, it's a little bit wavy, but that's okay. Once we cut it, it'll be a lot better. You should have a nice smooth surface ready for paint. And I'm just going to take a pencil and outline these squares. And we only need 5. You can do less, you can do more. It's totally up to you. At least 2 though. Then you want to cut everything out. So I have all my pieces cut and they're ready to start folding, and you can see they're starting to get a little bit more flat. So with each paper, we're going to fold it in half. Fold it in half the other way. And then fold it diagonally once. Kind of use your nail to make a good score. And then once you have it folded, you should have what looks like this. And then you're going to squeeze these two together to fold it down into a little square. So we'll open and close like this. And I'm going to repeat that to all the other pieces. Okay, so I have my squares done, and how we're going to connect them is we're going to open them slightly, and we're going to alternate. This one is opening, this one right here is opening upwards, so we're going to flip this one over and alternate up and down. Okay, so I'm just going to get some matte medium and a brush, and I'm going to just give a good coat to this one square and then place this one on top and hold it down. You can use glue for this as well, a glue stick or any other kind of white glue. Okay, so we have everything glued together, and this is now the base for your new little journal. And so when you fold it up, it will fold easier as it gets folded and unfolded, but then initially it'll kind of be a little stiff. So you end up with something like this. So once you start opening and closing it, it will get easier. So we have our joined pieces, and I cut out a little 3x3 square of cardboard, and that'll help me cut out more pieces to glue onto this because I want to build it up a little bit. So I'm just going to trace these roughly. They don't have to fit perfectly because we're going to be painting and altering them anyway. It's just going to add some underlying texture and color, and I'm going to do that to a few different pieces so we can kind of make a patchwork of color here. So I have all my little pieces cut, and I'm just gonna start trying to arrange them. I cut them diagonally in half so that they would fit into the spaces. Wanted to free up that folded area, which is why I cut them. And that just helps you to be able to open and close it a lot easier. So I want to do something like this. And I'm going to start gluing everything in place. So we have these pieces of scrapbook paper down, and we're building up the layers so that this is getting more durable and stronger. And I'm going to get out some paints now. I'm going to be using a mix of soy paints and acrylic craft paints. I just want to get some color into some of these areas. You can use any colors you want. I'm just gonna go with a few blocks of different colors, bright and happy colors. So we have some paint in now, and it's really starting to brighten up and become more colorful and happy. You can do a couple of layers of paint if you want. I can see some at the back poking in through in areas, but not too worried about it. But it really helps these other papers to show up a little bit better. And I'm going to get my stencils, and I'm going to start adding even more color on top of these to kind of blend everything in a little bit. I like to use makeup sponges. You can find them at drugstores. They come in a large packet of like 50 or something, and they are very handy. They make great paint sponges, and I reuse them. Obviously, I rinse them out as best I can, and then I reuse them. And I'm going to use the spare piece from our bag as our paint palette here, and I'm going to get some different colors here that are different than what I have going on. Okay, so I'm using similar colors. I'm trying to keep with this same color scheme, but I want them to show up, so I don't want to use the exact same colors. I'm going to get some of this blue and just start adding a little bit of color here and there.